Kenna Barra. Mom is an immigrant from
Kenya.
She raised you as a single mom. You went to UIS. You played college tennis. Went and became a lawyer in Indiana. Was part of the Black Lawyers Association at your law school. And now you're working for the state.
Yes.
So my real question is, when are you going to start getting into politics? Because that is like, when are we going to start seeing that? That is like if I've ever heard of like a person primed for politics, that's your story.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
I think politics are just so difficult.
Oh, I wouldn't wish anybody to get in politics right now.
Exactly. I just think that even when you go in with the best intentions, you have to play the game a bit. So I think there's things you concede here and there, still with a good heart. But
Yeah.
I think it just gets...
It's a smear campaign. With that, what I would say is our system of politics, or politicians, of how we get politicians elected, it feels like who's the best debater. And what I think we need is the best facilitator. Like, who can, like, bring other people to the table and push something through. Like that, not who's the loudest or who has the best talking points. Like, can somebody be a great collaborator? Maybe that's what we need. Instead of a debater, the great collaborator.
Which is interesting because actually I've thought, like, towards the end of my career, what I'd really like to go into is negotiation and mediation.
Oh.
So I got a little bit of practice with that at an internship I had done at like a private firm, and I really, really enjoyed that. Of just coming in, it's like, okay, both parties, we don't want to go to court, but where can we find some middle ground? So I guess that's my my
How does that play out in your private life?
Pretty good, actually.
Does anybody ever like throw that back in your face? You wanted to be a mediator, now you're not compromising at all.
I don't think so. I feel like I'm actually like the friend that can like make peace between people.
I would so use that against people. Like, you want to be a mediator, now you're not. It's probably why I only have one friend, but that's another reason. That's another story.
Your wife? Yeah, she's great.
And even then, she's just legally bound to me. Okay, so this is going to be a fun one. All right, lightning round, okay? All right. As a lawyer, have you ever said objection in the courtroom?
I have not.
Do you want to?
I don't.
You don't want to say that? Like, objection!
No, I don't know. I'm not much of a litigator. I really love, like, writing. Yeah, I love brief writing, everything about it. So I would say, don't get into a fight with me over text, because that's where I'm bad.
That is awesome.
Give me some like time to deliberate, look at it, think about all the views, and boom, I got your right back.
My goodness, that's hilarious. I love this, by the way. But so like, you don't want to have you can't handle the truth moment, like, code red, you can't handle it.
No, that's not what drew me to the law.
Okay.
But I respect it. I think
you
there's people
respect
that have that personality that can go out there and do that and achieve justice that way, and I think it's awesome.
Okay.
But no, I'd rather be
typing
away and shipping at the system through research.
Ooh, I like that. Letter of the law or spirit of the law?
Spirit of the law.
Spirit of the law. Okay. So you are a natural push the boundaries kind of person, aren't you?
I think it's more realism, because like the letter of the law, you were, with people, you're writing laws in this perfect world where everybody does everything right, nothing, there aren't any other factors, but that's not the world we live in. So I think spirit of the law, let's see what's really going on, and
I always say that with faith is like, we need a real life faith, like a faith that can handle gray situations and some uncomfortable situations instead of some ethereal, some kind of something that doesn't work in real life. So, okay. Lawyers have their own language. Like, y'all have a lawyer speak type of thing. Yeah, legalese.
Yeah.
So how do you say this? Can you reinterpret this for me?
Okay.
This feels shady, but I can't prove it.
Okay, this feels shady, but I can't prove it. You may you may have to cut some of this
No way.
as I process. Or you're just gonna keep on zooming in.
We'll come back. We'll come back to that one. Back to that one. That's tough. That's a tough one to throw it out there. Okay. Have you ever just come across a law where you just knew whoever wrote it was in a bad mood? Like they got dumped the day before. They just start slamming out some laws.
Yeah, I would say so. There's some where it's like, this is oddly specific. Like, what happened?
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes okay. Here's one. Do you trust people more or less after becoming a lawyer?
Oh, way less.
Really?
Yes.
That's not inspiring to me whatsoever.
Yeah, I think a lot of the cases that we see, some of the defendants are people that you would never expect to be doing certain crimes.
All right, last lightning round question. Is the system fair?
No.
Why?
Because I think kind of what I was saying earlier, we make these rules in a vacuum, and there's so many factors that go into it. So I think we can agree on certain crimes that are wrong, but then sometimes when you look at the why it happened, then it feels like somebody should have intervened earlier to have helped that person. So it's almost like I don't think you should now be in jail, like something failed you along the way. So it feels unfair that because of all these factors, you got here, you committed this crime, and now you have to face this punishment. But at the same time, it's like you have to think of the victim's perspective as well. So I think that's part of why criminal justice is it's an adversarial system, and it's really important to have people who are doing their very best on both sides, because it's a whole story at all times. So I think as prosecutors, people kind of get caught up of thinking it's like you're just trying to put people away, but then you have these victims who are talking to you about these experiences they've been through. So it's like sometimes some of these laws were there to protect them for these exact reasons, but then you're on the defendant's side, and something may have happened to them, or they were facing really hard whatever circumstances in their life, and then unfortunately they made this poor decision. So you also have a heart for them. So it's just trying to balance that. So I don't think it'll ever fully be fair, but all we can do is just continue advocating as best we can on both sides, and hopefully achieve as best of justice as we can, and then also just really pour into community centers that help the youth. And
Are you a big advocate of that? It seems like you're a big advocate for investment, so people don't have to see you.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that honest answer. I struggle because I don't think the system's fair, and I do one small tiny thing. It's not tiny actually, but it's a massive thing. There's people who have been locked up for years for selling weed, and now there's corporations and pharmacies who are making money off of it, and they're buying yachts from it,
Right.
For the last 20 years or 30 years, people have been locked up, and wait, what?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. And they're predominantly, not white people who have been locked up for that.
Right.
Would that be fair?
Yeah, it's a fair assessment.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, lawyer / pickleball, Kenna Berry.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, a little flavor.
Yeah.
He's getting comfortable.
Yeah, I'm getting comfortable with that. Okay, so here's my question. You are a safety lawyer. We went back and forth and on this because I was like, so what? How can we shorten it? And you're like, no, dude, that's my title. What is it? Tell me what a safety lawyer is. What is
Safety Act, but
Yes.
essentially.
Oh yeah, you're all kinds of lawyer right there.
My mom goes on me about that too. It comes from a place of love. But yeah, so the Safety Act is what got rid of cash bail in Illinois. So I say it's more of an equitable system. So it's no longer, who can bail you out? How much money do you have with your community? Essentially, it's based on whether they believe you'll flee. So it's willful flight or dangerousness. And all of those, there's a lot of factors that are built in that a judge is able to look at, and so to make that determination.
And you've spent your professional career so far working on that.
I have. It's crazy. It actually, went into effect in 2023, so like in September. And that's around the time I started my job in August of 2023. So I've actually got to see this area of law grow, which is so rare in the law. You know, like most things are so set in stone. But yeah. So we've been.
So you've got to kind of be in the cutting edge of this law.
Yeah.
That's kind of a fun experience. Wow. What drew you to the law in the first place? Yeah. Speaking of 2023, do you remember me honking at you down on Cook Street or?
Yes.
Do you? I was like, hey. And we hadn't really met. I saw you at the court one time. And that's just like totally my personality. Hey. And you're like, who is this guy?
I was like, did I offend someone? What happened? Why am I getting honked at?
Will you be my second friend? Okay, so what inspired you to go to the law? Like, do you just like, are you like, the law is beautiful and it's so poetic, and like, what inspired you?
That's actually kind of a funny story. Fourth grade is when I decided that I was going to become an attorney.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. So I had this really cool science teacher, and she used to let us, like, as we were going through our exams, tests. Why am I saying exams? Like, we're
what fourth grade did you go to? We had 30 page papers.
Our science test.
Yeah. We were just looking at the molecular level in fourth grade of.
So during our tests, when we'd go over the answers in class, she would let us debate. So like if we wrote one answer, you know, circled one answer, whatever, and we thought it was right, if we could back it up and enough people like believed it too, then we could get that answer changed.
Oh my goodness.
So that happened. It was one of these questions, and funny, I still remember the question. It was, so on this question in particular, people would raise their hand if they got it wrong, and a lot of us did. So I raised my hand, and I had, I guess, a good enough answer, and my teacher was like, okay, anybody who selected that answer, you can change it to being correct now. And I remember like that feeling of like, wow, you know, I helped everybody in my class. I made an argument, and that was nice. And my fourth grade self knew that lawyers make arguments and help people. And I went home and I told my mom I'm going to be a lawyer one day. And she was like, okay, you know, because at that point I think I had wanted to be a photographer, wanted to be a teacher like her. So she's like, okay, maybe it's a little phase, but it never went away.
That's interesting. And you had to make it, though. You had to make the argument, and now you don't want to make the argument. You want to write the argument. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, like, when you see an edit, do you read the newspaper? Are you, like, old like me? Because I got these grays coming. Do you read the newspaper? Or, like, do you read news?
Honestly, I
Not
get a lot
much.
of my news from, like, certain, like, Instagram sources.
Okay, so, like, when somebody's doing some kind of public discourse, are in your lawyer mind, are you like, I see your argument, I see this, this, and this, and this is your dots, and this, like, you just like, right, like a beautiful mind, you're just like, I
wouldn't go that far, but
okay.
A very okay mind.
Okay.
A nice mind, if you will.
So going to your world and being a lawyer, what do law schools not prepare you for?
Ooh.
Like, as you're in the real world, what do they you're like, yeah, that's not what they prepared me for.
Honestly, I think in a lot of like the research
office politics.
Yeah, some of that. In some of the research courses, I think they're a little too hard in terms of being like, don't look at other sources, don't talk to your colleagues about this, we want this to all be your own work. And then you get into like practice, and someone is like, oh, just like take mine and switch up a couple things. You're like, oh, we can collaborate. So yeah.
Do you ever use Wikipedia?
No.
Judge, the Wikipedia page said this.
But funny enough, I have seen a case that used Wikipedia. It was like there was a shooting that happened, and they compared the shooting to like something that would happen in GTA.
Oh no,
and
they
then
did
they
not.
added a citation from Wikipedia about what Grand Theft Auto is.
Oh my goodness. Well, the new generation, it's going to be a very interesting new generation as we come up. Mm-hmm. Last question on lawyering. What do you want us to know about lawyering? Like, what do you want us to know about your job, your experience? You're still kind of at the first quarter of it, I would say, like after graduate school.
Yeah. I'd say that if you have a passion for the law, there's a place for you. Oh. Yeah. I've been exposed
just
to
not breaking the passion for breaking. There's no
right. The place for you isn't so fun. But yeah, if you want to get into it, there's so many different things that you can do with even just your law school degree, let alone like, once you pass the bar and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot to do with a legal license. Well, not even a legal license. There's a lot to do after graduating from law school.
How does it feel working for the empire? You're working for the state, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're working for the empire. Like, how does that feel?
I like it. I think private practice is fantastic, and I think people do a lot of like good work there. I think what's difficult though is that you want to help, like your next door neighbor and all of these kind of things, but at the same time you have to get in money from like bigger corporations and those kind of, I don't know, entities, which can sometimes be problematic. So
I feel like with private practice, because I've watched Law and Order and Boston Legal, I feel like with that there's a greater chance for you to feel morally dehydrated being in private practice versus working for the state. Do you agree or no?
I would say I agree for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah, because I mean, I think with what I do, I don't know, say what they do, like the Attorney General's office, like what kind of cases they're handling. So even within like
that's true.
The state, I couldn't tell you I know what like each branch is doing and how they feel about like the happiness, so, their happiness essentially. Because you just get different cases. You work in different departments that handle various issues. So I think with me, it's mostly like just criminal, and I love criminal law. I think it's very interesting. But I think if you get into like family law, I know can be really draining. At one point, actually, when I went into law school, I really wanted to become an immigration attorney.
Yeah.
And then we took a course, and we actually had these people who came in. And they talked to us about how they were doing asylum cases. So they had trauma. What was it? Like trauma counselors for their clients and then also for themselves because of like all the stories they were hearing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can help, sometimes you can't help. And people have like, invested so much in bringing like, this child over, and then they have to get sent back to like their home country, which sometimes is, like in a state of war or something like that. So hearing about that, I know myself and I was like, I don't think I can do this day to day and be okay. But I completely respect it. And I think it's important work. Just that's a lot of, emotions that you're going through.
That is a lot of emotion. Do you feel like, but that where the emotions are is where the passion is too, right? Mm-hmm. So that could be two sides of a different coin there, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about being a lawyer? I think it's just so amazing to see I'm gonna sound super old right now, to seeing a young person doing some amazing things, especially in downtown Springfield and in our state, and to say that you're working to make it fair and equitable, like my heart flutters. So like, anything else you want to say about that, your experience?
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's like there's like one more like takeaway that I have, but I don't think I do for now.
That's wonderful. Yeah. I really appreciate the work you do. So now we get to kind of talk into another question.
All right.
And so you are a pickleball. We get to talk pickleball.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, we're talking pickleball.
Yeah.
Okay, so but you are a former college tennis player. Mm-hmm. At UIS, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you are a college tennis player. Now you're a pickleballer. Here's my question to you. Mm-hmm. Did pickleball feel like a downgrade?
No.
No. Okay. Do you think, I'm going to phrase it as do you think tennis players think they're superior to pickleball players?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because people think that like tennis is a more physical sport, and also, I mean, the name pickleball sounds.
It is a weird name.
The way the ball sounds when you hit it and when it bounces.
Yeah, we have a lot of strikes going against us, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So. Okay. So one of the questions is, what is the most pickleballish thing that would never happen in the tennis world? Like, what's something in our culture of pickleball that you're like, that would never happen in the tennis world?
Are we talking like on the court or off?
However you interpret it.
Okay, on the court, I would say like everything about dinking. Like, nobody's doing that.
Nobody's dinking.
Nobody's like, ooh, let's like stay at.
Let's stand at the kitchen and just kind of tap it, tappy tap.
Right. Let's be at like like the service boxes and just hit each other and not kill the ball. So